So I'm out and about because I wanted to do this video because the last video I did was about coming out and just that whole experience, and I wanted to touch on a little bit more about sexuality and my experiences of it and kind of my life, I suppose, and kind of give you a bit more background, because I know there's been lots of people that have been asking similar sorts of questions, and I kind of wanted to sort of impart some of that stuff that came with dealing with being gay and all other shit. And it might be a bit of a difficult video to do, in actual fact, you know, probably similar to the difficulty of the other one. But I'm going to give it a go. The light's fading fast. I'm going to try and do this as quickly as I possibly can. I'm also filming this in cine style as well, so I'm going to give that a go and see whether or not I can get some better colour saturation and all other shit and dynamic range. You can watch my coming out video actually, like, sort of up the top somewhere. I'll put something somewhere so you can watch that. But I was never one of these people that knew when I was, you know, 3 or whatever, that I was gay at all. I went to college. Well, I actually went to secondary school, and you know, when you're like, I was in primary school and I didn't really give a shit about anything. You know, when you're in primary school and really you don't really care about relationships very much. All you care about is Lego and cars and like just toys, and it doesn't really matter. And then when I got to secondary school, I really didn't give a shit again either. Really, I couldn't care less about girls or boys or anything. I wasn't really interested in that, and I never really fitted in probably in secondary school because I was kind of one of those socially inept kids. And then I think year 9 came around, and I went on a ski trip, and then I got really pally with other people, and then I was fine. And I had some friends then. It was kind of like, you know, my secondary school experience was shit. Well, at least for the first 3 years anyway. And then I went to did A-levels, and I think A-levels were fantastic. They were probably the best times of my life, including university, actually, I would say that. Again, I didn't really care about boys or girls or sex or anything like that. I think I had a rough idea, or I think I knew I was a little bit different, because I think when I was in year 10 was the first time I ever watched porn, like forever. Like, I never watched any porn at all before that. And year 9 came along and happened, and I looked at some straight porn and I was like, well, this isn't doing anything for me. Am I doing something wrong? So I think a couple of months went by, and I thought, oh, I wonder whether or not there's any gay porn I could have a look at. And I looked at that, and I kind of got my jollies from that, really. I can't remember the website I used to use. It wasn't one of the ones I now use, which is a bit weird. You know, when you like Google, when you're a kid and you just Google random shit. It was back in the days of AOL, and we used to have an AOL browser, and then I used to have to clear the history. But anyway, and I got to A-levels, and, you know, similar sort of thing. I didn't really like, in terms of sex, I wasn't really interested in any of it, and I wasn't interested in getting a relationship and this, that, and the other thing. And then the university thing happened, and I got to university, the first year of uni, and that was when it all started becoming really difficult, because I couldn't figure it out myself. I couldn't figure out whether or not I was gay, if I was straight, if I was bisexual, if I was asexual, and my body decided it wasn't going to actually let me know, and my hormones wouldn't calm down. So I basically spent the first 2 years sort of just denying anything. Like, when people would say, "Oh, you gay, you straight, how many women have you slept with?" I kind of used to close up and not really tell anybody anything. And the thing with uni was that it was a fantastic time to experience yourself, and just don't, like, uni for me was absolutely fantastic, because it meant that I could just be who I wanted to be, and it didn't matter. And so I got to, I did a degree in outdoor adventure, and it was a kind of a waste. Well, it wasn't a waste of time, but that's the degree I decided to do because I wanted to become a teacher. I had to just adjust the ISO then, because it's getting really, really dark quite quickly. So yeah, I wanted to become a teacher, and you know, I went through uni, I did the whole uni thing. I went out on the piss a few times during the first year, and I was just like, do you know what? I don't like doing any of this, because it's so, like, it wasn't because I was socially awkward. It was because I didn't want to be pressured into getting a girl and all this other shit, and I was like, I don't know what I want. I don't know if I'm asexual. I don't know this, that, and the other. And for a while, I did think I was asexual. I thought I wasn't interested in sex at all, and I looked it up, and I joined some forums, and I was like, yeah, this looks like it's me. And then, I don't know, I'm just trying to think, it was like the second year of uni when I moved out of the halls and got into like a shared house, and it must have been around by Christmas. Like, everybody was out of the house, it must have been around by Christmas, and there was nobody in the house, just me. And it was the first time I ever met up with a guy, like properly met with a guy. I'd been talking to guys for like ages. I think pretty much since the second year of uni I've been talking to guys for ages. And then the second year of uni, like say Christmas time, maybe even during the summer, I'm not too sure, I met up with this guy, and he came round, and like came around to my house, and I was shitting myself because I was like, oh my god, I've just invited a random stranger to my house. I don't know what he's like. He looked really cute, he looked really fit. And he came round and he was a smoker, so that was the first sort of downside to it all. So he was a smoker, and because of that it kind of turned me off a little bit. My penis didn't work. Well, it worked for the first like 5 minutes, and then it got to the extent of doing the actual deed of actually having sex, and then I kind of like clammed up. I was like, no, I can't do this. And bless him, he was a really nice guy, and he just said, you know, don't worry about it, it's your first time, like I'm not gonna, you know, it's fine for me, and you know, quite happy to take it slow. And that was it. And I never saw him again, never ever saw him again, never spoke to him again, and that was the end of that. And it was a real shame actually, because he was a really nice guy, and I kind of would have been good to, like, you know, get to know him a little bit better, but I don't think he was after that too much. So that happened, and I thought, well, actually this kind of makes more sense to me. And then I met up with a few more guys like in the 3rd year of uni, and when I was doing my dissertation and stuff, I thought, actually, no, you know, this is actually me. I think I'm gay, I think this is what I am. And then when I was doing my dissertation, I thought, yeah, that's it. That's who I am. I'm gay. I'm, you know, fantastic. Let's, you know, let's praise this. And and that was kind of, you know, that for me was then the realisation that I was gay. But before that, it was awful. It was like the worst time ever, because it was like, well, they don't know, and the fact that you don't, like, having not knowing is fucking awful. It's bloody awful. I used to cry. I'm gonna have to start walking back now because it's starting to hail, and it's also starting to get a lot darker. I'm gonna try and film while I go, whilst I'm trying to avoid the mud and shit, but and with the wind and everything else. But yeah, you know, I came to terms with the fact that I was gay. Before that, I used to cry myself to sleep. It was really difficult, like it really was, and I'm not going to pretend that it wasn't difficult, because it really was. You know, I know I'm really trying hard not to cry, which is really bad. Like it's fucking mud everywhere. You know, for me it was really bad. It was really awful. It was a horrible time. I hated it. My body didn't decide what it wanted, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, will you decide what you want? You know, and that's what pissed me off the most, really. And so, you know, that whole process was bloody awful, and I hated it, and yeah, and it was really horrible. And that's kind of what this video is supposed to be about, actually, you know, showing my experiences, because I never really, like, I didn't plan this, I just kind of did it spontaneously. I mean, I had it planned in my head for ages, but I don't really know what to say, you know. And you know, and I'm not going to lie to you and say that it's easy, because it really isn't. And I know lots of people going through the same sort of processes and really hating that whole coming out experience, and, you know, dealing with sexuality, and you're not too sure whether you're bi, you're gay, you're straight, you're whatever. And I know lots of you have got lots of family issues. Now, my family are really liberal. They're really weird though. They're like conservative liberals. So, like, my parents don't really like immigrants, but they're quite happy for people to have free money and, you know, the NHS and all other kind of stuff. And so it's on and off hailing, which is a bit weird. Well, frozen rain, it's not hail because it's not summer. I just had to run out that hill because it's really starting to get dark quite quickly, and it's starting to hail as well. So I'm trying to do this without breaking my neck. But yeah, so my parents are really liberal. They're, you know, they agree with the NHS, they agree with free money if you're jobless, this, that, you know, they agree with all that kind of crap. They don't like immigration. So it's kind of like the Conservative Liberals, a bit like UKIP. And so it was kind of like, I wasn't too sure, especially my dad. My dad's really anti-immigration, and, well, not racist, but he's not very accepting of other people. And so I thought, well, because of that, I'm going to have no chance, am I, between, you know, my mum probably will be alright with it, but Dad might not be. And so then started the process of sort of internalising it and saying, yeah, okay, you know, I'm happy with who I am, but now I need to make sure that other people are happy with who I am and what I am, and you know, accept me for me. And, you know, uni was great for that, because it meant people didn't give a shit, because people were from all over the country and they didn't give a crap. Like, that's why I'd recommend uni to anybody, because you can discover yourself, you learn some fantastic things about you, and it's really great for that. So, you know, I got to that stage, and I think I came out on Twitter before anything else, before I met a boy, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. Before I met, well, like, the love of my life, basically. I came out on Twitter, had no negative things from it at all. I have to say, it was like the best thing I've ever done. Like, going out on Twitter was fantastic. I got so much support from people, and it was great, you know. And then I started talking with a guy called Kyle. He'll know who he is. And we started talking for ages. He had his own stuff to deal with. I had not very much stuff to do with really. Like, he had his own depression to deal with, and it was awful, and I was always there for him, and over time I fell in love with him, you know. I really did. He is still really the love of my life, and I actually went to New York the time I went to New York was the first time I told him I loved him, and because he'd been telling me he loved me for ages, and I was like, no, you can't tell, because he lives in New Zealand, and I was like, you can't love me because you're fucking miles away, how does that work? And then over time I was like, yeah, actually, you know, I do love you as well, and I still do love him. Like, I love him with all my heart, like, really do. But it's difficult because he's so far away. Whoops! Because he's so far away, and because I'm jobless now, I don't think it's really going to work, and that's a real shame. That kind of breaks my heart, because it's like, you know, I love him, and to be honest, I think he is the one for me, and that's that. And you know, I met him, and he didn't force me to come out, but he said, oh, you should really come out to your parents. He gave me lots of support. And because of that, I recorded my coming out, which I'm going to share with you at the end of this. Like, at the end of this, I'm going to share what I said, but not what my parents said, because for some weird reason I didn't record what they said. It's getting really gloomy now. I didn't record what they said because I didn't put it on loudspeaker like an idiot. I kind of wish I did now, because it was fantastic. Yeah, he is pretty much the love of my life, and and it's really difficult for me to you know, not see him and stuff, and now look for other people, because it's like, well, they're not the same. They're not Kyle, and they're not the same kinds of people that, you know, I've fallen in love with. So but yeah, that was that, and I came up to my parents, and they were fine with it, and it was fantastic. And like, that coming out to my parents and them not caring was absolutely fantastic. It was like the best thing in my whole life. Like, I was so overrun with emotion, and oh Jesus, I am now a combination of the cold wind and emotion at the moment. And you know, that was fantastic. It really was. It was the best feeling I've ever felt. It's like, yes, you know, they accept me for who I am no matter what, and that was fantastic. You can't put a price on that, you know, especially family. Like, if they don't love you for who you are, then you're fucked, aren't you, really? So yeah, that happened, and over time, you know, Carl and I kind of grew apart, really, because we knew we couldn't see each other, and it was like and so now I'm at the, you know, at the stage where I'm using all the apps. I didn't actually start using things like Grindr, and, well, just Grindr, really, I don't use anything else, until like 6 months ago. I started using that. Fucking worst app in the history of the world. But equally, I've met some really great people on there. I've met some fantastic friends on there, which I wouldn't have necessarily met if I didn't go on Grindr. So it's kind of like a bit of, you know, both. Like, yeah, it's really good, yeah, it's really bad. I met a few people on there, and I've, you know, had some fun, and but I know there's never any real relationships apart from one guy who I'm talking to now, which I think we're sort of hitting it off a little. I'm hoping we're hitting it off anyway, because I quite like him a lot. And yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. My arms are bloody aching like fuck now. But I'll leave you with my coming out on the phone to my parents without their reactions, and my reactions, and you know, if you've got any questions at all, just literally hit me up. I'm always here for advice. Last time I did a video like that, loads of people coming to me for advice, you know, people from 16 to 18, and it's a rough time. Like, I'm not going to pretend it's easy, it really isn't. It's a rough old time, but it will sort itself out eventually, and you'll, you know, and no matter who accepts you, who doesn't accept you, you're you, and you can't change that. And you know, I wish you all the best and all the luck and all the love in the world that I can give, because it's not the easiest thing in the world, especially if you don't know, like I didn't know until, you know, I came through uni, and that was a fucking shit time, because if I started at the beginning of uni, I would have had many boyfriends, I would have been able to experiment, I would have been able to have my first gay sex maybe before uni, or, you know, first year of uni, and that would have been perfect time for it to happen, because it would, you know, just would have been. Whereas now, like, I had a job, you know, I've had a job, and so I've not had time to go on dates and all other shit that people generally do in relationships. And so yeah, it's, you know, now I'm in a really shit position because now I'm jobless, and so I can't really go on very many dates at all, which is a bit shit, but hey ho, never mind. So yeah, so I shall leave you with my coming out to my parents, the audio for that, maybe some pictures, I'm not too sure, going through. And obviously hit me up on Twitter, @AzzyChill, send me an email around at azzychill.com. Kick me if you want @AzzyChill for any advice and guidance if you're, you're gay or you think you're gay and all other shit, because lots of people have done that since. And apart from that, I shall catch you in a later video. Because I've got something to tell you which I didn't really want to say over the phone. Which is, you might want to get Dad involved actually as well, but this is something I've been trying to say for quite a while, but I haven't actually had the chance to say it, because every time I come home, there's other bloody people around, or there's never a chance to say it, and it's not something I necessarily want to say over the phone, and I don't know necessarily what your reaction is going to be for saying it over the phone as opposed to in person. So I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm gay. That's a very succinct, short answer, which I wasn't expecting. I don't know. And heat seekers, revolutionary leaders, street sweepers and peacekeepers, deep thinkers, think with similar beasts of burden, carrying knowledge like apple trees carry serpentines, chariots of fire carry various desires that tear open my eyes like flares up in the night skies. Oh, good. I'm glad. To be a beacon of light, keeping the feeling alive. Good. Well, I kind of have and I haven't, which is it's basically a long distance relationship, I suppose, involving somebody in New Zealand. Yes. But I shall explain more at the weekend, because I think it's probably easier to do that than explain about it all over the phone. But yes. So there you go. But it's been not necessarily eating away at me, but it's just been annoying, because every time I come home, I don't want to do it individually. I don't want to just have it with you on your own or Dad on your own. I want you both to be there together, because I just think it's the right way to do things. And then every time that obviously Dad works on a Saturday and Friday, and then all the little ones are bloody around, and then bloody Rowan's here and Claire's here, and I've never had the chance to actually come out and say it, because it's never been the right time. I've been trying to say it for probably about 3 months now. I've been trying to say that, and that's that. Yeah. But no, I'm glad with it. Good, thank God for that. Well, it's better if I tell him, isn't it? I don't want you to tell him, because that just makes me sound like a coward, doesn't it? So no, I will tell him. Well, you may as well not, no, really. No. No, that's fine. That's fine. Ousted out now from evermore. Shunned. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no. Okay, no. Yeah, well, yeah. You know what, I'll stop. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, speak to you soon. Love you. Bye. Heyo. I am back to you. There's something I wanted to say to you, which I've just said to Mum. And I don't really know how to say it, so I'm just going to say it how I said it to Mum. I'm gay. Oh, well, I don't know whether or not that's good or bad, really. Just a bunch of tongue-in-cheek bumblebee drones, living as humble beings till the queen's on the phone. Then it's talk a lot of nada, trying to polish up your shine and bait the hook proper so she swallows all your lines. No, I was just saying, because I didn't want to do it over the phone at all, because it's just so impersonal and awful. But I was just saying to Mum, I've been trying to do it for, about 3 months, and every time I try and do it, because I don't want to do it individually, like just when Mum's here or just when you're there or whatever. And I want to do it like when you're both there, but then when you're both there, the bloody little ones are there, or Rowan's there, or Claire's there, and it's just like, I just want to just get you two on your own and just sort of sit down and just sort of say it, and as much as I didn't really want to do it over the phone, it's done now, and then we can talk about it a little bit more. Trapped in a pattern to manage the dismay, all day, every damn day, too much work and not enough play, all day, every damn day, trapped in a pattern to manage the dismay.